Hello everybody, I'm Doug. Welcome to the Auditory Vinyl. This is another episode of Record Labels A to Z, episode M, as in MCA and MGM, but I won't be showing those because if you've been watching, I show try to show the smaller labels. I've been trying to show 5 of each if I have it. So that's the deal. Start off with Monument Records. Started out in 1958 in Washington D.C. and then by 1960 they had moved to Memphis, where they picked up some country artists like Dolly Parton in her early years, Roy Orbison, Boots Randolph were both also on the label. Here is Billy Grammer with Chasing a Dream, kind of an early version of the Monument. I believe later they had more colorful labels. They had some hits throughout the 60s and 70s. They did go bankrupt in 83, but Sony got them back on their feet in the 90s. And then they had artists like Little Big Town, Dixie Chicks, Shelby Lynne. Monument. Millennium Records. Lasted from 76 to 83. RCA was their distributor. A lot of Canadian artists on this label. One of their early and semi-hits was, if you remember, I think it was Mecca. They did disco versions of like the Star Wars theme and I think the Wizard of Oz song and some other novelty type stuff. But Don McLean at one point was on here, Tommy James, and this is Frankie and the Knockouts with Sweetheart. And supposedly Millennium passed on Madonna in 81. So they really missed out on a big opportunity there. My guess is even if they would have signed her, one of the bigger labels would have snatched her up soon enough. Mushroom Records started in Vancouver in 1974. They also had an office in LA. There's two. There's an Australian Mushroom record label that had a lot of big names on it, but the one I'm covering is the Canadian version, which had artists. Chilliwack was on there, Doucette, Ian Matthews, and Heart. Their first few albums was on Mushroom. This magazine, which has got their big hit Heartless. They also do a cover version of I Got the Music in Me on here. But here is the Mushroom label. By 1980 they went out of business. Capitol, I believe, took over the Heart Records. And Modern Records. It's founded by Stevie Nicks in 1980 because supposedly Warner Brothers did not want to sign her as a solo artist. So she went, fine, I'll sign my own. So she got Denny Goldman on track to help her out. There is a really old version or label from like the 40s and 50s that was called Modern. So she, on the label, you can see there, she put 1980 as part of her logo. So just to kind of separate herself from the other one. She got Natalie Cole on this label, Rich Vito. But by 1999, it ended, and I believe, I think Warner Brothers, or crap, now I can't remember. But somebody else, picked up her label. Mirage Records. Started in 1980 by Jerry and Bob Greenberg. Jerry had worked for Atlantic for a long time, promoting a bunch of artists, and he decided to start his own. Had Godley and Cream, Southside Johnny, early Whitesnake, some Chick, and Phoebe Snow. This is her Rockaway album, and there's the label there. And I think they lasted around quite a few. Not sure if I didn't see any information on who picked them up or if they just went bankrupt or what, but yeah. So that's it for M. Thanks for watching. Thanks for new subscribers. Appreciate all the comments. Yeah. Have a good day. Enjoy the music.